Dr. King's Memorial. Introduction. Each year, people of all ages visit the memorial that honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Washington, D.C. A large sculpture of Dr. King and some of his famous words inspire visitors. The time is always right to do what is right. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Who was Dr. King and why do we remember him? Dr. King was a civil rights leader. He worked throughout his lifetime for equal rights for all people. The South. Dr. King grew up in Georgia in the 1930s. During his childhood in the South, he faced racism and laws that were unfair to black people. Laws in the United States kept black people and white people segregated or separate from one another. Not all states followed these laws. However, many states in the South enforced them. In the South, black people and white people were not allowed to marry each other. Black, child, black children could not attend the same schools as white children. Black people had to use different drink mountains from white people. Black people had to sit at the backs of city buses. The front seats were reserved only for white people. Black people were not allowed to ride in the same railroad cars as White people. Black people and white people had to use different public restrooms. The law said that everything would be separate but equal. However, many facilities for black people were not as nice, clean, or well kept as those for white people. Dr. King's work. Dr. King wanted unfair laws to change and for people of all races to be treated equally under the law. His dream was that Americans would come together as one people without racism. He gave many speeches and spoke with many people about how to change the laws. Hate will never hate, only love will end hate. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King wanted to use peaceful or nonviolent ways to make changes. He said there was already too much hate in the world to use violence to fight racism. Dr. King and other leaders protested the unfair laws by refusing to follow them. For example, many black people held sit ins during which they sat at whites only counters in restaurants. They refused to move, and some people, including Dr. King, were arrested. Dr. King and his supporters marched with many people as another nonviolent way to protest racism and the segregation laws. They hoped to make people, especially lawmakers, realize that the unfair laws should be changed. After marching in Washington, D.C., Dr. King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech at the Lincoln Memorial in 1963. He affected many people with his powerful words. New laws. Because of the work of Dr. King and others, the government changed the segregation laws in 1964. The new laws are fairer. It is now against the law to treat some people better than other people because of their race. Do you know Rosa Parks refused to move from her front seat on a city bus to a back seat in 1955. When she was arrested, many people around the country became angry about her treatment. Her courage helped change the unfair laws. Black children and white children can go to the same schools. People can sit where they want on buses and trains and in restaurants. The same water fountains and, and restrooms can be used by anyone, no matter their race. Dr. King's dream. Dr. King wanted all people to be free. He wanted laws that were fair for everyone. He dreamed that people of every race would get along. Today, the laws are fairer, but there is still work to be done. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When people visit his memorial, they remember Dr. King and his dream of fair laws and free people. They carry on his work.